Senator McIlhinney.
In the discussion here today, we're talking about the amendment and changing the Local Tax Enabling Act. The Local Tax Enabling Act. That means the local municipalities that in 1965, when we said to them, we're not going to deal with the continuing mandates we send to you, we're just going to continue to send them to you. We're not going to give you more money. We're going to allow you to figure out a way to raise your local taxes and deal with this. Well, today we don't even like the way that they're collecting it. And in my county, 90% of the municipalities have a single tax collector because they chose to form that sort of an arrangement. So what we're saying here today is we don't like that. It's not good enough. The other 10%, you got to come into line as well. Across the whole state, we don't like what's going on. Of course, we don't want to get involved in having to deal with the increased costs of the unfunded mandates that we continue to throw down them, from school districts to municipalities to the roads and bridges that we got to force them to repair. We just don't like the way it's being collected. And I'm hearing today that we're in the 18th century from my good friend Senator Wozniak in Johnstown. Well, I know we're getting late, but I'm going to ask the Senate to indulge me just on a quick story. It's a story about a town in Pennsylvania, a town that was called Hope, Pennsylvania. In about 1776, the British marched out of New York City to come down to invade Pennsylvania to capture Philadelphia. When they came down through Jersey, they came to looking for a river crossing. They couldn't find out where to go. And there was a town of Hope. In the middle of town of Hope was a ferry run by the Hope family. They sent their scouts across the water, and they said to the Hope family, send your ferry across so that we can bring our army to bear on the Pennsylvania side. There were no bridges back then. And they said, if you don't do it, we're going to shell your town. Well, not only did the Hope family not send a ferry across, they sent word to George Washington. They sent it out to him, and they said, we're blocking it here, send your troops over. And our troops, the colonists, the revolutionaries, our founding fathers, lined up on our side of the river to keep the British from forming the other side. Well, the British did shell the town. They burned down 90% of that town. The British did not invade that year. Philadelphia was saved that year. The revolution continued that year. What happened in that town next was that the residents from the surrounding districts, from Plumstead, from Buckingham Township, from Upper Makefield Township, they came together, they found the money, and they rebuilt that town. They rebuilt that town, they renamed it. It's called New Hope, Pennsylvania. You might have heard of it now. If you walk down New Hope, Pennsylvania today, you can walk into a real estate office, and you can walk up to the attic of the real estate office, and in the attic is a cannonball lodged over 200 years ago in that fight. And what I'm saying today here, Madam President, is that our towns have been finding ways to fund and rebuild and conduct their business since before we were a country. But today, we know better. We need to bring them into the 20th century. We need to tell them that their ability to actually form their own decisions and form their own countywide tax collection agency isn't good enough because you only got to 90%. Only 90% of you got together to do it. Today, we know what's best for them, but we're still not dealing with all the other mandates and the tax collection and the school problems that we have here. We're worrying about the other people's problems. We're now worrying about our local municipalities' problems instead of our municipality, our problems in the state. So I commend my colleagues that have been here trying to make some sort of a say for the local municipalities, a local form of government. Obviously, it's not going to pass here today. And it's a sad day that we have to go through spending more time on other people's problems than our own problems. So I am going to oppose this bill today in the final version and hope that at some point we can start paying attention to our issues instead of meddling in our local municipalities. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator McIlhinney.